Hey, welcome to a Lovely Yarn podcast. My name is Amber. It is Monday, June 4th, and I am happy to finally be recording this. My plan was to record last week, but then I got sick. I came down with one of those horrible feeling spring, summer colds, and I didn't feel like doing anything more than what I really had to do, so I did not podcast. I still have a bit of that, so I have my warm coffee here that I apologize, but I'm going to probably be sipping on that throughout the podcast because when I talk, like even already I'm feeling the urge to cough. Anyway, but we're going to do it because I have a lot of things I want to talk about today. I actually thought this is going to be a really fast podcast, and then as I started gathering things, I realized it's probably not going to be. But we'll see what happens. So I will put all of my contact information in the description box here below the video. Basically, I'm most active on Instagram. So that's probably where you have your best chance of finding me and posting, because I even had somebody say that they were looking at my Ravelry projects, but I don't post many projects on there. I have some. I just don't take the time to do that. So, what are we doing? What are we up to? Well, we finished up our school year, and we had our evaluations. In the state of Pennsylvania, I'm required to have our kids evaluated by an evaluator every year. So we did that, and I turned all my paperwork into our school district. So we are officially on summer mode, which feels a little bit strange because we don't have that routine, which it's nice in a way, but I also struggle with that in a way because I feel like I'm a person that does well with routine. So I guess I'm going to try to figure something out with that. It happens every summer. I don't know why I'm surprised. So we put our gardens in. We got the last of that in on Saturday. We put our beans in. Realized I forgot to buy broccoli, so I do need to do that yet. Planted a bunch of flowers. Have been doing a lot of landscaping, ripping stuff out, putting new things in. And I still have more stuff I want to do with that. Basically, just getting out there with my pruning shears and just cutting back some stuff that has gotten a bit out of control and large. And yeah, that's mostly what I've been doing. I haven't done as much knitting as I maybe thought I would do after we finished our schoolwork up, but it's mostly because I've just been getting the gardens ready. And that's always a lot of work to get those put in. So now they're in, so we'll see what will happen, because I still have my craft studio down in the basement that is a wreck, and I need to make that a priority. I'm just never in the mood to do that. Like, I know once I go down and start it that I'll be good. It's just a matter of making myself go down there and do it. But it'll be good. It'll be a good thing whenever it is done. I'm going to show you, I only have one finished object, and this was a really fast knit, and it was an easy knit. So it's the Morning Mist top by Annie Claire. That's her name, I believe, on Ravelry, by Annie Claire. So here it is. Hold on, let me just go like this. And the pretty part is in the back, that lace panel. I have mixed feelings about this, not about this pattern, but about my choice of yarn, because this yarn, it was, oh boy, Fiora, but what brand? The yarn was Fiora, I can't remember the brand. Good grief. That's not my favorite part about podcasting. I know people like to know that stuff, but I don't know. I'm not very good at that. But anyway, I'll post it down below. So it was a blend of mostly cotton and also alpaca and angora, maybe a couple other things. And I got gauge with it with the recommended needle size, although I had to do adjustments like with the lace panel. This lace panel was supposed to have 10 repeats, and I might have mentioned this on my last podcast, but I only did 8. So it's basically, you do a provisional cast on down here, and you knit out this way, and then you knit out this, you pick up those stitches and knit this way. And so each section is supposed to have 10 repeats. But if I would have done, like, this is already, you can see it's already just right, maybe even slightly too wide on me. If I would have done the 10 repeats, it would have been, I don't know, like almost 2 inches, like 1 3/4 inches larger on it, on each side. So I must be a loose lace knitter. The gauge is done in the stockinette, and I did get gauge with that. But I feel like this is a really heavy fabric. It's very drapey. It's nice that way. And when I put it on, it looks nice too, but it just feels a little bit heavy. And maybe it's just going to be a little too heavy for this time of year. Now today, where it's only like 62 degrees out, it would be fine, but we've been having a lot of 80 some degree days. And yeah, this would be too warm for that. It just, I don't know. And also I feel like it might be just slightly too big. So I think I'm going to throw it in the dryer. Like, supervise it. Keep checking it. Just trying to shrink it down just a tad bit. And we'll see what happens. That is my only finished object. And the reason I say it's nothing to do with the pattern is because I've already finished the lace panel for my second morning mist. It's down in my studio being blocked right now, because you do the lace panel, then you block it before you pick up stitches and start the shoulders. And so it is actually down there being blocked. I finished up the panel last night and blocked it last night, so it's still wet, so I didn't want to mess with it and bring it up. But I am going to be doing the body. I'm actually doing all of it with this Cascade Yarns Ultra Pima cotton. And I bought this a long time ago. And I was actually going to try to sell it online. And then when I finished this first morning mist, I really liked the concept of it, and I thought it would make a great summer shirt. And I remembered I had this down, and it's navy, so it's one of the colors I really like. I'm going to pause this because I left the contrast color out in the living room. I want to go grab that. So, hold tight. Okay. I have some foam. I had a foam mustache. Wait, let me just finish. Let me finish so I don't get totally off subject. Okay. Yeah, I want to show you guys this bag. I know this is slightly off subject, but not really. Because it is where I'm keeping my morning mist yarn. I do not know the woman's name on Instagram, but her Instagram name is Blueberry Fields, and she has an Etsy shop. And I bought one of these drawstring bags off of her during one of her recent updates. And I love it. I love this bag. Isn't that gorgeous? It's gorgeous. Anyway, check her out. Blueberry Fields. Etsy.com. Okay. So this Cascade is not marked with a color name, just a color number. This is just like a very natural, it's probably just called natural. But this is what I'm doing the lace panel out of. And then this is a navy. It looks brighter on the camera. It's definitely more navy-ish. And already, just looking at this yarn compared to the yarn I used for this, this feels lighter, and it's probably because this has some alpaca and angora in it. It has stuff other than cotton. Cotton can sometimes be heavy, but this is not. Maybe it's because it's the Pima. So I have the lace panel done, and I'm really seriously considering trying to figure out how to make the front a lace panel as well. I think that would be so pretty. I haven't decided yet. I think I'm probably going to do that, but I don't know for sure. It's still ticking around in my head whether or not I want to do that. But yes, this is going to be the next morning mist. And I'm thinking maybe this one's going to just feel better because it is the 100% cotton. It'll be, and it just feels different when I hold it in my hand. So that is what I'm currently working on. And that's pretty much all I'm currently working on. Oh, and I know what I wanted to say. So yesterday I was sitting on my back deck. Yesterday was Sunday. I was sitting on my back deck and I was finishing up that lace portion of the morning mist, and my husband was roasting coffee. And I just put a little video in my stories about that. So I wanted to just tell a little bit about Brad's hobby. Mine's knitting. One of Brad's hobbies is coffee roasting. And this is some that he roasted earlier, actually midweek last week. And we like dark roasted coffee, so that's usually how he'll roast it. And I don't know a lot about coffee roasting, but I'm pretty sure that the light, medium, and dark all depends on how long you let it roast. And there's a whole thing you have to listen for, the popping or the crackling or something. I forget what he says. But so how this all started was our best friends who used to live here, and actually he was the pastor at the church we used to attend. He roasted coffee, and I used to buy our coffee off of him from time to time, like when he had time to roast extra. And then they ended up moving to South Carolina, and we go down every summer. And was it last year? I think it was last year. Jeff taught Brad how to roast. Maybe it was the year before. Anyway, for Christmas this past year, I bought Brad a coffee roaster and an assortment of green beans, which I may have mentioned that. And so since then, he roasts all of our coffee. And it is wonderful, but it's hard to drink other coffee now because there is such a difference in freshly roasted, freshly ground coffee. And we do have an espresso machine, which makes it even better. But so basically he roasts a couple times a week, because what he does is he'll roast, 4 or 5 batches, and then you let it sit for 2 or 3 days before you actually use it. So he's roasting multiple times a week, and yesterday he was roasting, and it just smells so wonderful. Oh my gosh. It's lovely. I'm glad that his hobby is coffee roasting. He's also an outdoorsman. If it was up to him, he would spend all of his extra time outside. But, so yeah. So I love my husband's coffee, and it's hard to find coffee out, even at coffee shops, that matches it. Okay. Now, I want to talk real quick about a couple of patterns that are on my radar. So I spun up all this fiber from Caroline, who I've talked about a lot on this podcast. They're Alruna fiber, which is, I think, Angora and fine wool blend. I think it's 80% Angora. It's been a while since I finished it. Anyway, this past week or weekend, the days all fly by and blend in my mind, but I recently just did all of the last water treatment for all of my hand spun that I've done since January, which but basically means I just put it in a big pot of hot water with a little bit of wool wash, and I let the skeins soak in there, and then I take them out and I hang them out to dry. And that just is that last step to help relax the fibers. So I say that because I did that with my Alruna fiber, and I've been trying to figure out what pattern I want to use this yarn for, because this is a very, so it's very nebby and rustic looking. I just wanted to make sure I had a pattern that was going to do it justice. So I also knew I didn't want anything really lacy, because I just wasn't feeling that with this yarn. This pattern that I pick, I knew it needed to be like a plain, simple pattern, because that's what I was envisioning. So anyway, what happened was I had someone suggest a pattern to me, which I really liked. And I saved that in my favorites on Ravelry. And then a couple weeks ago, Caroline and Vibiki, I'm so sorry. I know you watch this, and I probably just butchered your name. And I am right up front, I am horrible with foreign names. I'm ashamed of that, because I wish I wasn't. Vibiki, I'm sorry. Knit _pearl on Instagram. Again, I'm going to tag both women, or I'm going to put both women's information down in the description box. So anyway, they decided to have this Knitting for Mindfulness knit along. And you can just go to their accounts to get the details on that. But one of the patterns, or pattern choices, they have several, but anyway, so one of them was an ebook by Sylvia McFadden that had a bunch of shawls. Gentle Armor is what it was called. So Gentle Armor ebook. And I got on and I looked up her patterns, and I found one called Gentle People, and it is extremely simple. It looks like it's a lot of garter stitch and then stockinette stitch that's kind of alternating. And it's, I think it's a crescent. I think it's a crescent shawl. But it just really looked like it would be a good match for this yarn. So I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to make with this. And that knit along is, they actually have a group on Instagram with the Instagram name Knitting for Mindfulness, and I will put that down below as well. I haven't cast on, but the thing about this knit along is there's no rolls, no prizes. It's just, the whole concept of it is to just enjoy your knitting and just kind of relax and think about things while you're knitting, and for it to be about the process and, you know, the memories you put into your project as you're making it. It's about that rather than like hurrying up and finishing it, so that you can be done with it. So I'm going to start this sometime soon, but I'm not stressing over it. You know, the funny thing is I love this fiber so much that I almost don't want to use it, because I'm like, what if I make that shawl and then I find another pattern that I absolutely love more, and then this yarn is gone. So it's silly. I can always order more, right? And I want to talk a little bit about two other patterns. I mean, I have a ton of patterns in my brain that I want to make. And I know that's not just a thing that I deal with. I mean, I think probably most knitters do, because there's all these fabulous patterns coming out and all this fabulous yarn, and we just want to make everything, but you know, there's just not time for that. But I think what's nice is it keeps me inspired. And but my problem is that I just have a hard time focusing on making, because I'm seeing all these things and I'm getting like, oh, I want to make that, Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's sometimes I'm like, Amber, you just need to shut that off and focus and enjoy what you have right in front of you, which is kind of what that knitting for mindfulness knit along means to me. But so two patterns right now off the top of my head that I could think of this morning that I wanted to talk about is the Tegna, which I'm pronouncing wrong because I watched an interview that Christy Glass did with Caitlin Hunter and she pronounces it different. Tegna, maybe? But I'm just going to say Tegna because that's how it looks to me and that's how I think most people are pronouncing it. When I first saw that pattern, I wasn't sure that I liked it, but now I'm positive that I would wear that a lot because I would layer that over my dresses. And so now I'm like, okay, I want to make that. And I don't think it would take very long. So I'm going to see what I have in my stash because I'm not going to make it if I can't use something from my stash. I'm not buying any more yarn. So that's one. And then, oh my gosh, the Codicus shawl, another one by Caitlin Hunter. Oh, I am in love with that shawl. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. It is just so me. And it's color work. And I've wanted to make that. I don't know when that pattern came out, but I know at least for a couple of months I've wanted to make that. And I am going to make it eventually. That's not anything that's going to happen. At least I'm not planning on that happening soon because I don't think I have yarn like that I would need for that project in my stash. So those are two patterns that I'm really liking lately, plus many others. If you go to my favorites on Ravelry, you'll see I have all kinds of stuff saved in there. And right now, honestly, what I should be focusing on in my knitting is summer tops, which is why I'm making another morning mist. And I had bought a couple other patterns last year that are summery tops. So we'll see how many of those I get done. I don't know. All right. So let me, oh, here it is. I'm like, where did I put my yarn that I've spun? Okay, so I'm just going to talk about spinning a little bit. Actually, no, I'm going to talk about 2 yarn dyers that I would say I learned about within the last 4 to 6 months. And I've talked about one of them before because she sent me goodies for the giveaway, which I'm going to be talking about a bit later here. But so let's talk about Ashley first. She's from the Blackberry Bridge, and she had a sale, and so I bought a couple skeins off of her. This was a few weeks back. So this one is a single. It's her Briar single, so it's fingering weight, 100% merino, and this colorway is called Here Comes the Sun, and I just think that that is so beautiful. This probably isn't going to zoom, is it? Hold on, let me see. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And there's her cute tag. Okay, and now I'm going to have to refocus myself because, yeah. Okay, I think that worked. Okay, so that was Here Comes the Sun. And then the other one is a One Pot Wonder. This is Briar BFL, so Blue Face Luster. And it also has some nylon in it, so this would be a good sock yarn. And this is called Bloom. I don't really want to have to do the zoomy thing again because it is quite possible that I am no longer focused. Okay, stand by, guys. A remote control would be so handy. I don't know why my camera doesn't come with one, but it's so far away that I can't reach it. So I like have to adjust. And yeah, maybe there's an easier way to do it, but I don't know of it. Okay, so those two skeins are beautiful. And then another dyer that is, she's a natural dyer. And she is newer to me, I think, than Ashley is. But her name's Amber as well. And her fiber shop is called Yarn and Time Fibers. I'll link both of these ladies below. And I bought a skein of her yarn in one of her recent updates. This is her Cloudland base, which is 100% Polworth, and it's DK. And this particular skein is dyed with wisteria and black beans. And that's really pretty, isn't it? So, just wanted to share those two amazing dyers with you guys. There's so many amazing dyers out there, aren't there? I know, it's hard to, you know, you just want to support everyone, but financially you can't. You just can't. But when I do have extra money, yeah. So maybe you've noticed my hair is very short, and I posted on Instagram last week, Friday, Saturday maybe, that I just went and chopped it. And I chopped it myself in my bathroom because, and I do this every year, about once a year, my hair gets to a certain point, and then I think I should go to the salon, but I don't want to go to the salon. I don't want to make an appointment. Okay, I can go to the walk-in salon, but what if I get somebody I don't like? And I don't want to spend $20-some on a haircut and, you know, back and forth, because I've always been very low maintenance about my hair. So I always end up chopping my hair off, and that happened this past weekend. And when I posted that, I said, you know, I'd rather spend my money on other things. And what I meant by that is I'd rather spend my money on yarn or fiber. So I rather support small yarn companies than salons. That's just me. Plus, I also said, you know, when you go and you get like a bad haircut and that awkward, like, she turns you around, you look in the mirror, and you're like, she's like, how do you like it? And you're like, yeah. But really, you don't like it. What do you say? I hate it? I don't know. Anyway, so I avoid that. I just cut my own hair. And if I give myself a bad cut, it's no one's fault but my own. And I will, my hair grows really fast, so that makes it good. All right, so those are the new yarn dyers I wanted to share with you. And then I have just 3 skeins of hand spun that I was going to show. This is from Humble Acres Farm. I may have showed this fiber on my last podcast. It was the purple, gosh, I forget what was in it. I'm just showing you guys. See? Okay, so I did this. And then this was fiber I bought from On the Round. They're both very lovely. And actually I had a little bit of each left on the bobbins that I plied the two together to make this little ball that I'm going to put into my cozy memory blanket, which is what I do with a lot of my leftover, because when you spin and then you ply together, you don't always have the same amount on each bobbin, even though I weigh or I split the fiber so that I can attempt to get empty out both bobbins when I'm plying. But that doesn't always happen because, you know, I mean, mostly I'm a consistent spinner, but you will have times where you spin a little thicker, and it's hand spun. That's what happens. But anyway, so I'm really loving these. This is definitely looking lighter on camera than it is in real life. Like the colors aren't coming through as beautiful. And then this is a single, and this is just some fiber that I have had laying around for a while. Now I still need to give this one a bath. It's still got a lot of energy in it. It's pretty kinky up here. But this one has so much color that I didn't want to, I ran out of time that day, and I'm just waiting till I get more fiber so that I can do several at a time. So that's my hand spun. And I'm currently spinning some blue face luster that is just natural. Let me grab some of that for you. I don't have a bobbin full yet, but this is it. It's like a brownish gray. It actually looks more brown, not on camera, but it looks more brown in real life. But then on the bobbin, it's looking more gray. And certain lighting makes it look different as well. So I split this fiber. It was like 5.3 ounces, which I forget how many grams that was because I measured it in grams as well. But I split it down the middle because at first I thought I'm going to spin this. I'm going to apply it with some white merino and make a marled yarn. But when I spun a little bit up on my bobbin just to see what it looked like spun into a single, I thought, no, I want to just ply it together and do it that way. So that's what I'm doing. So I'll have a 2-ply. Yes, okay. What else do I have to talk about? Oh, speaking of spinning, I'm so excited because I'm going to be demonstrating at our local festival this summer. It's called the Folk Festival, and it's basically supposed to be more like of a colonial times theme, although I feel like they've kind of gotten away from that, which is kind of a bummer, but they do some small scale reenacting, and it's basically just vendors come into our town, and we have a beautiful riverfront park, and they set up their tents and their booths, and it is 4 or 5 days long. I think it goes from Wednesday to Sunday, and it's always fun. There's lots of it's all handmade stuff, and then there's food vendors, and they have live music. They have different people come in. There's a couple bandstands that people perform on, and I think my daughter's going to be playing piano one of the evenings. But I have a friend who goes every year with the local spinning guild, and she does demonstrations. And so I'm going to be joining her this year, and we're going to have spinning wheels there and drop spindles. And she is also a weaver, so she's going to have a couple looms there, and we'll have fiber. It's going to be an interactive booth this year, which means that people can come in and try the different things, just skills. And doesn't that sound fun? I am so excited to be a part of this. I doubt I'll be in there every night. I'm not sure how often I'll be in. She has one other woman I know that's going to be helping her for sure. But it is just like, it sounds so much fun. And I was really looking forward to buying a costume to dress up. And then I found out that they don't do that anymore. Big bummer. They used to sit there, like Jean, my friend Jean, she used to sit there in her long skirt and her bonnet and everything, and she'd sit at her wheel and spin and demonstrate. And I just wanted an excuse to dress up. But, oh well, not going to be able to. But I'm still going to be able to go and help teach and demonstrate and just have a really great time. And I think I might ask her if she wants me to bring my Angora rabbit, just so that, like, the kids, I think kids would really like to see that. And that's a very portable fiber animal, But anyway, that's coming up. And then there's also a couple other festivals that I'm thinking about attending. I have vended at them before. Last year, I took the entire year off, did not do that. I did some custom orders as far as, I used to have a knitting and crochet business. So I used to make a lot of stuff and sell a lot of stuff. And I had a Christmas market here in my home, and I invited other makers in, and we always had a really great turnout. But last year I needed a break, and I just did custom orders. I had a few custom orders, and even those were very limited just because I felt like I needed to just chill out with that and just focus on learning some new knitting techniques that I didn't have the time to learn, because basically when I was doing that as like a business, all of my free time was taken up by making things to sell, and it got to be really just more burdensome. The extra money was nice, but the lack of time to just learn new knitting techniques and spinning techniques, that was kind of a drag, not having time to be able to do that. So but I feel like maybe I'd like to do a festival or two other than this folk festival. So in the fall, because that's when I do well, in the fall, because nobody wants to buy knitted garments and hats and stuff, in the summer. So I'm throwing around the idea of that. I'm also throwing around the idea of selling my hand spun. I went to, I have done that before. I went to a festival once and I took some hand spun, and I sold one skein to a knitter. She bought it for her daughter, and the problem with this is the area I live in, and these festivals, the festivals I'm thinking of attending, I'm not thinking I'm going to get a crowd there that is going to be interested in buying hand spun yarn. But if I have it and I'm taking already made items, then I might as well take my hand spun and see, because I would love to come upon a booth at a festival that had somebody's yarn or hand spun or natural dyed yarn or fiber or whatever. Like, that'd be super exciting for me. So I thought, what the heck, may as well take it, and if it sells, it does. If not, that's okay. So yeah, that's what is coming up, and that will start in August. And yeah, I just thought I'd share about that. So what I want to talk about now is the giveaway. So I'm going to go ahead and pause again, take a sip of coffee, and gather up the giveaway stuff. Okay, it's time for the giveaway announcement. I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to comment. I know that there was like a prize in store for you by commenting, like a potential prize, but I still really appreciated reading. Like, some people took time to write really thoughtful things. And even when I don't have the giveaway, people comment, and I really just, it means a lot, and I just savor each comment. So that was really exciting, and I ended up, I don't know, I think, 1,359 subscribers now. So, thank you. And I'm glad that I can offer this little gift, and I'm thankful for the generosity of Robin and Ashley. Robin from Robin's Roost and Ashley from the Blackberry Ridge for their donations. But anyway, so there were 223 comments this morning. Actually, I literally just picked the winner. I have it on my laptop over there. Facebook, somebody that actually commented said that Facebook had a random comment picker, and so that's what I used. So it actually just pulled it right up. So I think I'm just going to say, I was going to try to insert a picture, but for me to do that I use this really simple editing software, and it's just the stuff that came with my computer, and I can't even, never mind. It's really a pain in the butt to edit. So I was going to put a photo in of the winner on the screen. I took it with my phone. You know what? I'll just grab my phone and show you. Stand by, everyone. Okay. I just want everyone to know that I this was completely random. And, okay. It's backwards. But there you see the winner. Okay. All right, so the winner was My Wool Mitten, and that is Carrie. I actually follow Carrie on Instagram. I actually met Carrie through Caroline, again, who I've mentioned so much on this podcast. So Carrie, I was super excited to see your name come up, and let me just show you. Oh, I gotta move my phone because it interferes. I'm gonna toss it. My bed's back behind there. It interferes with my microphone. Okay, so I've shown this before, but real quick, Carrie, let me show you what you're getting. Oh my goodness, there's so many goodies here. Okay, so you're getting this mini skein set from the Blackberry Ridge. That's Ashley. As well as a needle gauge, a pretty handmade needle gauge that she made, and her little woolen flax pin. And then Robin from Robin's Roost donated this skein of merino, Watermelon Daydream, perfect summer color, as well as this beautiful project bag, the box bottom. And then I purchased a skein of my favorite soap that my friend makes, which is Yamali Naturals, and I linked her in my last podcast in the description box. Highly recommend her soap, and this is my favorite scent. She has lots of scents, but my favorite, all-time favorite, is Solstice. And then also a thing of her Green Goodness Herbal Salve, which is awesome for bug bites, cuts, chapped skin, anything like that. So that, and then also the Vogue knitting book that I had an extra copy of. But I had said from the very beginning that whoever wins this giveaway, I'm going to personalize their giveaway prize. So, Carrie, I'm going to include some special things in your package that are going to be a surprise. And I feel pretty confident that that you'll like them. Carrie is a spinner as well, and she has, is it Corriedale sheep, I think? I'm pretty sure. So this is exciting because, I mean, I would have been excited to send this to anybody, but, you know, it's going to a spinner and a